What's up, everyone? Today we're going to break down one of the biggest creative forces on the entire planet, hip-hop. We're going to look under the hood and see exactly how a hit song gets made, piece by piece. Let's jump in. You ever have your headphones on listening to a massive track and just think, how did they even do that? It's so much more than just a cool beat and some words, right? It's like a whole creative universe with its own rules, its own characters, and even its own power-ups. And today, we're getting the all-access developers pass. All right, so to really get how this all works, you have to go back to the beginning, like level 1. We're heading back in time to see how the actual game engine of hip-hop was built from scratch. Okay, so picture this. It's the early 1970s in the Bronx, New York. We're not talking about giant concerts or fancy studios. The whole thing starts with kids in their own neighborhoods, dragging out huge sound systems for outdoor block parties. It was all about creating something new, a way for them to have a voice and, have an awesome time. So who's running the show at these parties? At the very center of this whole new scene is the DJ, the disc jockey. I want you to think of the DJ as the party's soundtrack designer. They weren't just hitting play on songs. No, they were literally building the atmosphere, creating the entire vibe from the ground up. And this is where the DJs pulled off a genius move. They figured out that the best part of any funk or soul record for dancing was the break. That part where it's just drums and bass. So they got 2 turntables, put the same record on both, and juggled them back and forth, playing that break over and over and over. It was basically a live remix, creating an endless loop of pure energy to keep people dancing all night. Okay, so the DJ has built the world, the stage is set, the music is pumping, now it's time to choose your player character. Let's get to the next level, the person on the microphone. So before we call them rappers, they were known as MCs, which stands for Master of Ceremonies. And their job, at first, was really simple. Just grab the mic and get the crowd hyped. They'd shout stuff like, "Everybody make some noise!" But pretty soon, those simple shout-outs started getting more and more creative, and they evolved into the complex lyrics we know today. Now, let's talk about a rapper's single most important skill, their flow. This is like their unique attack pattern in a video game. You could have a slow, heavy flow where every single word lands with force and really makes you feel the story. Or you could go with a super fast flow, spitting out complex patterns that show off incredible technical skill and just get your adrenaline pumping. And to make that flow even better, rappers use these lyrical power-ups, or rhyme schemes. Yeah, you've got your basic end rhymes, pretty simple. But then you level up. You've got internal rhymes popping up in the middle of a sentence, and the master-level stuff, multi-syllabic rhymes, where they're rhyming whole phrases with each other. This is the stuff that makes a song get stuck in your head for weeks. So you've got the flow, you've got the rhymes, what now? All those skills need a purpose. Every great character needs a quest, right? Well, in hip-hop, the biggest mission is to tell your story. And make no mistake, this is real art. Rapping is basically a form of modern poetry. It uses all the same tools, rhythm, flow, clever wordplay, to talk about big ideas, deep feelings, and to turn the stuff you see every day into something amazing. So what's inside a rapper's storytelling toolkit? Well, you've got everything you need. You can create characters, use metaphors to paint these incredible pictures in your mind, and use descriptive language to make you feel like you're right there. Just like a novelist or a filmmaker, rappers are world builders, using nothing but words. But wait, hip-hop is so much bigger than just the music. That was just the launch pad. The world it created is huge, and it has all these other ways to play, other skills you can master. Let's check out some of the creative side quests. So the whole culture is really held up by 4 main pillars. We've already talked about the first 2, DJing and rapping. That's the sound of hip-hop. But then there are 2 other absolutely essential parts that give the culture its look and its movement: breakdancing and graffiti art. Breakdancing is how hip-hop expresses itself physically. For real, think of it like a character's emotes or special moves in a game. Dancers, called b-boys and b-girls, use this mix of incredible footwork, acrobatic spins, and these power poses called freezes. It's all about telling a story and showing your style through pure movement. And then you have the visual art of the culture, graffiti. This all started with artists using spray cans to paint their names, their tags, on walls and subway trains. It was all about leaving your mark on the city, kind of like a unique username or logo, to say, I am here, and this is my style. So remember how this whole creative world started in just a few neighborhoods in the Bronx? Well, it didn't stay there. It went from being a small local server to a massive, open-world, multiplayer game that's played all across the globe. I mean, it's incredible. Today, hip-hop is like a global language. You have artists in nearly every single country who've taken the basic tools, the beats, the rhymes, the style, and made them their own, in their own languages. And of course, the internet has connected everybody, so an artist in Brazil can work on a track with someone in South Korea. It's amazing. And here's a cool secret. Paying attention to hip-hop can actually help you level up your skills in school. No, seriously, breaking down lyrics, that's critical thinking for your English class. Writing rhymes builds your vocabulary. Making beats, you're literally using math and the physics of sound. It's a fun way to engage with almost every subject. So, look, if you forget everything else we talked about today, just remember this one thing. Hip-hop, at its very core, is a powerful and creative toolkit that anyone can use to express themselves and tell their story to the world. It gives you everything you need. The beat, the words, the movement, the art, all the tools are there. So really, there's only one question left to ask. What story would you tell? Thanks for hanging out with me today.